you guys seen that Matt Walsh movie? Am I racist?
I watched the trailer today. Is it? What's it out?
It's really funny.
I've heard great things about it.
It's a top 10 movie in the country right now.
Yeah.
I think it's what number is it?
Well, the first one was
Which
great.
is crazy, dude. It's gotten no press reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, but customer reviews is 99%, which is wild.
Yeah.
Like no one will review it.
Why?
Because it's funny.
Well,
and
and
he's not being sanctimonious. He's not like talking down to people or preaching to them. He's just showing how nutty all these fucking people on these struggle sessions with white people.
The other one was great.
Dude, it's just like I think it's better. It's better than that.
So today we're taking a look at a clip from the Joe Rogan Experience, of course, and Joe is discussing Matt Walsh's latest movie, produced by Matt Walsh and the Daily Wire, I guess. It's called Am I Racist? Great title. I did a previous video where Tim Pool was talking about it, but that was before the movie was released, I think. And the clips I've seen are absolutely hilarious. It's just completely, well, the thing is, it's a documentary. That's what's so brilliant about it. And Matt Walsh just goes along to these various DEI, learn to embrace or learn to decolonize your whiteness type seminars and all that kind of thing. And he also he interviews Robin DiAngelo, a hideous, libtard, progressive, anti-racist grifter, who wrote a book called something or other, White Fragility, that was it. And he interviewed her and managed to get her to pay reparations, $30 of reparations, to Matt Walsh's black producer who was there at the interview. It's absolutely hilarious. Where I am in Europe, the movie's not out yet here, or maybe it will never be released here. Who knows? But it definitely looks like it's worth watching because, judging from the clips I've seen, he just lets the people, he just interviews them. He just lets them do what they do, and he doesn't try to make them look bad. They make themselves look idiotic and bad. And what Joe Rogan just mentioned here is apparently on Rotten Tomatoes, the Rotten Tomatoes website, no major film critics have reviewed it. It's amazing. Like, film critics review every film. They review the crappiest films that are released, but they're refusing to review this. It's amazing. And apparently the film's doing really well. It had a very low budget, like $3 million, so it's already well into profit. And, just one more thing before we continue the clip. I was over on Reddit for my sins, and the Redditards, of course, are completely freaking out about it. Reddit is just a notorious cesspit of leftist, progressive, communist, Marxist, just absolute libtards over there. They all hate the movie because it's Matt Walsh and because it's the Daily Wire. And they also hate a YouTube reviewer who I didn't know about, a guy called Jeremy Jans, don't know how to pronounce his name. He reviewed the film. Apparently he's a well-respected YouTube film critic. He reviewed it and gave it a positive review. But of course the Redditards just couldn't handle it. They're melting down. If you want to laugh, you can go over there, take a look and just see. But I don't recommend it. Every time I go into Reddit, I lose another IQ point or two. Anyway, let's carry on with the clip and see what these guys have to say.
This one's really funny. What is a woman at certain times like?
Well, the trailer says it's a comedy.
Yeah,
it calls it a comedy.
It is a comedy.
I don't think the other one really was pushed as that.
But he's essentially doing like a right-wing version of one of those like Sacha Baron Cohen type shows.
Yep.
He's essentially doing that. He's sitting down with these people and he's pretending that he is with them and he wants to know, how he could do better. Number 7 in the fucking country with no press, man.
It made $2.5 million this weekend.
Do you know how nutty that is to have no press and have a show take off and become a top 10 movie in the country? That's pretty wild. And no press reviews at all. It's an interesting time, man. It's interesting.
And it is like the thing that was real interesting about the first one, and I think probably is true about this, although I haven't seen it yet, is that even though he's obviously like a real right-winger, it's not like that's the movie. Like, the movie isn't even making a right-wing argument or anything like that. It's just like letting these crazy left-wingers showcase how crazy they are.
Exactly.
Like, okay, you tell them. Like, it was nuts. He just went up to these, in the first one that I did see, He just went up to these gender experts and just kept asking them what a woman is. It
was crazy.
And they all just collapse into themselves. Like, this is the toughest question they never thought of.
The trans woman he asked outside was the best because they're like, well, what is a woman then? She goes, I think I want to go.
They've made it. They've tried to boil it down. I think I saw somebody do this the other day to try to come up with a logical explanation. It was something really ridiculous. Like, although recognizing that there are biological differences, a woman is anybody who tells you they're a woman. While recognizing so this is like the loophole. While recognizing that Harry probably can't get pregnant, he is now Harrietta. And that's just it. That's just it. There's no conversation that can be had here. And
Yeah, that reminded me. I never saw What is a Woman. That was Matt Walsh's first film. Came out a few years ago. It sounds like that's a must-see because did you just hear what these guys just said? Basically, he asked these gender experts in the movie what a woman is, and they can't answer. So if you're if you're transgender and you're now a woman, how do you know you're a woman if you don't even know what a woman is? The whole thing is just nonsense, but don't get me started.
And in some countries, they're talking about jailing people. Was it Scotland that had something about a proposal about literally jailing people for misgendering people?
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's like a big discussion always. Yeah, but
But what they were talking about putting people in a fucking cage. Like,
Yeah,
find out where that was. Was that in Scotland?
Then that's the thing that happened in,
It's also like,
in
I mean, how
Canada.
many
In
people-
Canada, a guy got sent to jail for he wouldn't agree to call his son a daughter or vice versa.
I mean, how many
And he
people
went
are
to
actually
actual jail.
legitimately it's like 0.001% of people are actually
Well,
trans.
now it's way higher than
Well,
that
now-
with
no.
young people because there's not a real thing to
It's
being
the new
trans
goth,
anymore.
dude.
I
It's the
was
new
3 steps away from racing my cars and doing donuts, and also 3 steps away from becoming trans.
Yeah, they're
Right in
next
that
door
sweet
neighbors.
spot.
They're just like Moonies.
By the way,
You can join
way,
up, man. You
ironically-
can join up.
I just wanted
And
to fit in
everybody
with
would love
somebody.
you.
Louis, ironically, if you were Asian, you would have been better at both things.
Maybe, possibly.
Oh, that was kind of funny. Yeah, absolutely ridiculous, this whole trans ideology thing. That's not what Matt Walsh's newest movie is about. That's what his first one was about. What Joe mentioned about Scotland, I heard something about that too. I'll have to look into it. Yeah, Scotland is just heading over the cliff. The UK in general is heading over the cliff with this whole trans ideology thing. It's like, okay, you misgender someone. Is it against the law to... Okay, so suppose we call that an insult, to misgender someone. Yeah, okay. It's disrespectful for sure. If somebody tells you their name is something and says they're a woman, okay, and you call them a man, okay, and they take it as an insult, okay, well, it's not a crime to insult people, yeah. It's not a crime to be rude to people, to insult them, to call them all sorts of nasty names. That's not a crime. You'll never be sent to jail in any of these crazy countries for calling someone a bitch or an asshole or whatever, a rude name. But you will, apparently, if you misgender them, or in some countries, if you use a racial slur. You can insult them, like by calling them an effing asshole, but you can't call them an effing, racial slur, insert racial slur. There are places like that, apparently. So, good little chat there on the Joe Rogan Experience. I hope you guys like this. If you like this kind of content, please like and subscribe as usual. And it really helps the channel when you do, and helps me to keep making more of this content.